How's everybody doing tonight? I'm glad all y'all could join us tonight. I know this is a kind of a surprise show. It was a surprise for us, really, getting with Dustin Connell. Just won his first elite event at Ross Barnett. Man, I can't believe it happened as quick as it did, getting him on, and I just it's great to be able to get him on a show tonight. James, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much, man. How you been?
Oh, not too much. Man, I know you've been busy too as well, so I'm glad you was able to make things work to be on tonight. And what do you think, man? I'm pretty excited about this show.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think it's pretty cool to have him on after just having Liberty University on the other night. So kind
Yeah,
of exciting.
yeah, it kind of goes hand in hand. And I mean, well, I don't think we've ever done really a show back to back like this. I mean, most of the time we try to save content um, and kind of keep it to what we like to talk about in-depth techniques. And right now we're in the post-spawn in-depth techniques month, so he just won a tournament. So it's we're going to see if that kind of plays with what we were been talking about. But it's just amazing to be able to get him on, and kind of shocked really. I didn't think it was gonna work that fast. I mean, everybody's wanting to get him and talk to him, and he's just busy. I talked to him yesterday, and he's just slammed, man. And just to be able to get him on, and for him to make time to come on our show, it's awesome. So, James, you got any plans for this weekend, man?
Oh, man, I hope I'm able to go fishing this weekend a little bit, but I got to do a little bit of work, and hopefully after that I can go play. You know what I'm saying? So
That's fun. What are you gonna take out this week? You try to take kayak, or you gonna take your bass boat out?
I'm debating. I need to take the bass boat out because I haven't run it.
Yeah,
So
you can take
that's what
both.
I probably should. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I might.
That's what I was
It's really
telling.
hard to do both.
I told Chris, uh, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start taking the kayak out, putting it on the back of the bass boat, and that way I can take one rod out with me. If I ain't got what I like, I'll just paddle on back and pick a different rod and paddle back on out and start fishing some more. Chris said, well, who's gonna control the boat? I said, that's why I need you. You stay on the boat and fish while I go out fishing in the kayak. So I said, I need you for this operation, but not for the tournaments, guys. So don't think I'm doing that for any of the kayak tournaments. But no, yeah, we got my son's birthday party Saturday, and then Sunday we're going down to Bugs Island. So still up in the air on where we're going to be putting in at, and I actually got to send that email out to the tournament director about ramps that are closed, and they're calling for more rain tomorrow, I think, or Friday. So um, we might get a lot more rain this weekend, and it might bring it up some more. So I think it's going to turn into a good a flipping bite, and especially if the sun's up real good, flipping bite. You know how Bugs is, James. When the water gets up in the bushes, it can be really great or it sucks.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they push so far back in the bushes sometimes when it comes up so fast that you can't get to them real well. But yeah, I don't know. You'll find that one honey hole and have some big ones. So that's what me and Dad's planning on. We're gonna make a pretty good run, and finally got me another prop to run. I got a Tempest prop on my boat this time, so Jimmy Andrews hooked me up. So thanks to him
Oh,
on
did he?
that. Yeah, he had a couple sitting around, and that one just been worked. He said, so we're gonna see. I got to take my other one and get that worked, and so I can get that one back on too, or at least see if he's gonna let me buy this one so I can have two props. But I'm kind of excited to just see
Is
what the
he?
Tempest does.
Oh yeah. Is he still fishing?
I think he fishes some. I think he's kind of just doing it on his own thing now. I mean, he don't travel a lot. I don't think he might go to some of the tournaments out of town, like Bugs or something. But I think the club that he's fishing. I mean, don't hold me to it. I don't know how. I don't. I think they're out of the federation now, so a lot of guys just fish certain ones, and I mean, some fish are. You got your diehards that fish your whole thing, um, but anyway, yeah. So anyway, I don't know. Next year, I've been talking with a couple of guys, and I'm not even sure yet what I'm going to fish next year. I think it's going to be kind of might fish some opens and start traveling around to some of these other lakes and shooting videos. So, I'm excited about this year fishing with my dad, and I'm really excited about going into next year and fishing some different lakes. So, but all right, well, guys, we got Dustin Connell. He's on the other line now, so we can go ahead and get him and talk about his first elite win. Hey, Dustin, you there, bud?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
Hey, buddy, I want to thank you for calling in tonight, bud, and taking some time at your busy day.
Yeah, man, no problem. I appreciate y'all having me.
Oh, that's no problem. So, let's start it off right. Congratulations on your first elite win. I bet you it's probably overwhelming. Has it set in yet that you've won? I mean, or is it you still does it still feel like a dream?
No, man, it's starting to set in. You know, today, it was one of them deals today where, you know, I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. So it's starting to set in now, and man, it's awesome, man. It really is. It's a dream for me for sure.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine. That's awesome, especially being young and winning your first event, and that kind of helps you for the rest of the year. So you're good for the rest of the year. Now you can kind of fish to win. You know what I mean?
That's right. It frees up. Man, especially financially is a huge part, and also, another thing, I talked to a guy today, and I told him, that there's a certain amount of doubt in your mind, especially when you're competing against these guys. They truly are the best in the world, and you get out there and you want to prove yourself, and man, it's so hard because they really are. Like, Kevin Van Dam is a beast, and for him to come back and the way he did, I was like, oh my gosh, man, this guy's super good.
Yeah. Now, did you know through the day how he was doing? Did you have any kind of reports on how he was doing?
I didn't. I didn't know how he was doing. We couldn't check, Bass Track, and I had a feeling that he was having a tougher day just because he didn't have a lot of followers with him. And I was like, man, Kevin Van Dam, he don't have 50 people following him. So I was like, it must be tough. But then I got to the dock later, and, I heard he had caught a 5.5 pounder, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, here we go.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that was what I was gonna say earlier. Not only did you win your first elite event, but you beat the man. You beat Kevin Van Dam. So I mean, that right there is just that right there is a goal in itself. Just to beat him. So especially on championship day. So I mean, I couldn't imagine. It'd be hard not to say, hey man, I whooped you today.
Yeah, and what's crazy about the whole deal is I don't know, it wasn't Sunday because it got canceled, but Saturday after the weigh-in, I was leading. I had a 5-pound lead, and and he walked up to me and he shook my hand and he told me congrats. He said, man, good job. And then he looked at me and he said, but I'm coming for you. And I went, oh, no. So it was one of them deals. Whenever he did that, I was like, gosh. I said, he's going to catch him, And I was very fortunate to have a lead going into the final day. I'd caught him, really good. And that's what saved me for sure. And my goal at the beginning of, championship Monday was, I said, I need 13 pounds. I have to have 13 pounds. If I don't have nothing, if I have something less, I'll get beat. And what's crazy about it is I had 7 bites all day, and I weighed in 12 pounds, 15 ounces. So, I don't know, man. It was just meant to be.
Tell us about that big fish. It's been a lot of video around of you hanging that real nice fish, and you were saying that was the fish that pretty much sealed the deal for you. Um, did
Yeah,
you
that
catch
was
most of your fish on that bank, or was that just kind of like a one fish on that bank? Or I mean, how did it go for you?
no, you know, I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I did, but I saved that stretch of the river for some reason. I don't know how or why I did that, but in the back, it was kind of put in the back of my mind. I was like, I know that's a really good stretch because there was about a mile and a half through there. I fished the left-hand side going up. Every morning, I always fish the left-hand side. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I didn't bounce across and go over. I just stayed on the left-hand side. But I knew there was a lot of little places, about 10 of them down the right-hand side going up, and I never really fished them. So I said, well, if I make it far enough, I'm going to go fish that bank really, really good. And, man, it was like I don't know, probably the third little place down through there, and I had fished that spot I think the day before, a couple of days before, like 2 or 3 times, and because it really looked good to me. And I mean, I pulled up, I didn't expect to get a bite right there, and I was like, let me just flip this one while I'm down through here. Flipped in the back of that mat right there, and I felt her start. It just got heavy, and I set the hook. And it looks like on the video she was hung in some grass, but the crazy thing about it is when I set the hook on that fish, she got hooked on the outside of her mouth. And not the outside, well, it went in her mouth, and the hook came out on the outside. Well, when I was dragging her over a log, it got hung. So she was just pinned to that log, and I ran over there, and I got her, and it was the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, it was cool to watch that catch. I mean, like at the end, you just sit down and you just lay down, like you was exhausted, like you just couldn't believe that happened.
Yeah, that was man, that was the most stressful day of fishing I think I've ever had, because I knew the night before. I told my brother, I told several of my buddies, I said, I'm telling you, I just know the conditions, and I know the odds are against me up there doing what I'm doing. I said, that's going to be the toughest 13 pounds I ever catch in my life, and it was for sure.
So when you were running back and you only had 12 pounds and something, I mean, did you think you had it then? I mean, was you still like doubting your weight? Was you like, man, I ain't got enough to win it?
Well, I knew that I had a chance because I still had some people following me around. I had probably 15 or 20, 15 boats, guys following me around, and I was like, they're hanging around for a reason, I think. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting on a miracle. I don't know. But I tell you another key fish. That was my 4th fish, that big one. And then I ran on down to another place. I found a tree, and I flipped in there, and I caught a non-keeper, like a 13-incher. And then I caught a 13.5-incher. And then I caught one about 15 inches, and I was like, please be a keeper. And I put it on the ruler, and it was a keeper. And I told Wes Miller, my cameraman, I was like, dude, I don't know how they're catching them, but that right there might be $100,000. And I put him in the box, and then I strapped my rods down, and I rode back,
Yeah. Now, kind of leading into the tournament, how was your practice? Did you have a really good practice, or did you struggle, or?
I had a great practice. On Monday when I got there, I had a game plan. I thought, hey, there ought to be a shad spawn still going on. I'm going to run up the river and go check what I think they might be doing, And in pre-practice, I was like, all right, there should be a shad spawn up through here doing this. And sure enough, at daylight, I caught probably 10 small ones. And I got kind of worried because I was like, man, I'm not getting any big bites. I ain't getting any big bites. And then I caught one about 4 pounds. And then I caught a 5-pounder. And then I caught one about 7 pounds. And I went, oh, no. I just had that feeling. I went, oh, no. And man, to be honest, I just strapped my rods down and I made a run all the way up the river, and I marked probably 50 places I thought I could get a bite. And then I come back down and I didn't go back up there. And that was the most stressful 2 or 3 days of practice I ever had, because I was just down there looking for backup stuff the rest of the practice.
Yeah. The whole time you're thinking in your head, like, you want to go up here and fish, you want to catch more fish, but you can't. You know it's really good.
Yeah, like I want to go and get dialed in more, and I use that phrase a lot, getting dialed in. And I wanted to go in there and figure out, I wanted to know what trees and what grass mats were the best, and find me a little hot tree, and figure out which ones I need to start it on, and just kind of sift through them and figure them out. But I was like, I don't want to be seen up there doing that. So I said, I'll just figure it out on day one. And on day one, I think I had right under 20 pounds. I had 1912, so they were doing it, serious up there.
Yeah. Now, when you go up there chasing the shad spawn, what was your baits that you were using to get those fish? Because that probably changed through the day, didn't it? As you got this for the shad spawn, when the day went on, you started flipping.
Yeah, typically, up any river like that, there's going to be a shad spawn around anything green in the water. I mean, it don't necessarily have to be green. It can be a stump or a willow tree with just some, limbs hanging in the water, anything basically in the water. It can be in 12 foot or 15, whatever it's hanging in. But I knew early was the deal, from daylight till 8:30. Once the sun got up, that deal was done, and I would have to go flip them up or do something different. So the big turning point of that tournament was Friday. Man, I went and tried to do a shad spawn deal. I tried to do the same thing I did the day before, but they were not doing it, man. I had 3 bites, and I didn't put none of them in the boat. And at 10:30, I never had a bass. Mm. So then I went into, hey, I'm on the winning deal, to, hey, it's done. I need to go save this tournament. So I went down and I tried some backup stuff, and I didn't get a bite. So I said, all right, that's fine. I said, I'm going to go pick everything to pieces up there with a flipping. So that's what I did, and I caught 17 pounds in 2.5 hours, and I was like, oh, no. I said, this is the deal,
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that, that worked out well, because, I mean, it pretty much stayed, like you said, you started out first thing in the morning doing one thing and going through the day. Now, did that change? Did you have to make any adjustments through the week, as the tournament progressed, were they going shallower, or you finding deeper spots of the structure, or how did it work out?
Well, I basically I had to run. I had a few certain little trees that were really good for me, and I just kind of remembered them in my mind. I was like, all right, I had 2 or 3 bites here yesterday. Let me make sure I hit these early. And then I would just run. I may run new water. I may run up and find a little trash mat, and I go flip it. But the biggest thing for me is having the confidence, I guess you would say, and the discipline to just keep doing that. They're not going to bite nothing else. Keep flipping. They're still there. Eventually, I'll get a big bite. And every day of that tournament, I had 2 to 3 big bites. And the final day, I had 1 big bite. And it just panned out.
Now, do you think that's kind of key when it comes to winning tournaments now? I mean, I hear some people talk about, I'm only fishing for 5 bites all day. I mean, you think that's most of the time when you catch big weights like that, is that what it takes? Is you're just fishing for 5 bites? Or is it sometimes you can go and catch a bunch of fish all day?
For me, from my experience, the nature of catching a big bag is you're not going to get a lot of bites. That's just how it goes, unless the only exception is if you're fishing, for example, Tennessee River, and you idle over a mega wad down there, and you pull up and you catch 36 pounds, and you're culling 4-pounders on a crankbait. That's really the only time that ever happens. But when you're on that kind of pattern like that, swimming a jig and flipping, those bigger fish, you're not going to catch 25 pounders. You're going to catch some limit fish to go with them, and then you're going to catch 3 5-pounders, and that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. James, you got.
But yes, you're not going to get a lot of bites. You got to put your head down and just know that, hey, eventually I'm going to catch a big one.
Yeah, and like when people talk about a jig bite, that's kind of, when you're on that jig bite, that's what you're looking for. 4 or 5 just really good bites. So.
Right.
James, you got any questions for Dustin before we go further into the conversation?
No, I just think that that's right on point right there. With just sticking to, if you're going to catch big fish, you got to stick to certain techniques and just go for the big fish and not worry about getting, like me and you would always focus on just trying to get fish in the boat first, but mainly you just got to focus on getting those big fish in the boat, not just getting the limit first.
Right.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's easy to waste a lot of time just trying to get a small limit.
Yeah, something else also, you can pull in some of those pockets, at Ross Barnett in particular, and you could catch a lot of fish. You might catch a bunch of pound and a half fish keepers, and they kind of draw you in, and that's what keeps you staying. Because as fishermen, we always want to get bites, but you got to put that in the back of your mind and not worry about catching a limit. And if you only have 7 bites, if you know you're going to get some big bites, you get 4 big bites and a keeper, and then you got 20 pounds.
Yeah. Now we had the LU bass fishing team on the collegiate team on the other day, and they brought up your win because we did our show Monday, and they brought up your win, and was there going from I don't say high school level. I don't know if you fished a high school team, but then fishing college. Was there much in the collegiate series that really got you prepared for the elite series?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I started fishing at University of Alabama in 2010, and we started traveling. I think the first college tournament I fished was at Lake Dardanelle, and coincidentally, we've got an Elite Series tournament there coming up. But and I started learning these different lakes and how they fish. We went to Louisiana. I fished the bayou down there, and I learned that brackish water and all that. And then we went to Okeechobee, and then we went to Texas. We went to Lake Louisville and fished, and then we went to Beaver Lake up in Arkansas, super clear water. So you kind of get dialed in on a lot of different water situations, and that helps me right now also. And I always put that kind of stuff in the back of my mind.
Yeah. Now, I mean, going into this year now and being a rookie, and have you learned much? We had Dylan Hayes on the other day, which he's a rookie in the FLW series, and we had him at the beginning of the year, and then we brought him on Monday, and I asked him the same question. Have you learned anything, like when you got on the tour, business side or on the fishing side? Have you learned something new, like how to handle yourself, or how to, I guess, brand yourself different, or in fishing techniques? Did you have to learn any new techniques in the Elite Series, or?
That's a good question. I would have to say, as far as fishing wise, the business side of it is another story for sure. But as far as the fishing side of it, I have just stuck to what I know, and when I go into these tournaments, for example, if I'm going to Okeechobee and I know everybody out there is going to be everybody's going to be flipping. They're going to be flipping. For me, I know for a fact I can't flip better than Greg Hackney. I can't flip better than Tim Horton down there, or Tommy Biffle, or whoever. So I try to separate myself, and that's what I try to do this tournament. But as far as learning different techniques, I've learned to really separate myself and try to just kind of go off the grid a little bit, kind of get away from everybody, and then I can do my own thing. And Greg Hackney said this a long time ago, and I still remember it. You may not be in the most productive water, but you got it to yourself. So that's what I try to go by. But as far as the business side of it, it is a huge deal, and it's very important. And with me being a rookie right now, I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of sponsors. I've got several local businesses that help me. Sixth Sense, Costa, they picked me up this year. But I do know the business side of it is a huge deal because it's a very expensive sport.
Yeah, that's what makes or breaks a lot of guys. You know what I mean? And for you to go ahead and get your win, I mean, that really helps propel you for the rest of the year. So the wins are very important. But there was something else I was just scared to lead into that question, and I just lost it. But James, you got another question for him?
Yeah. Advice for all the high school and college anglers out there. What would you say was the biggest piece of advice that you could give high school and college anglers as they progress through school and everything, and possibly make it to the Elite Series or FLW Series?
The biggest thing that I could probably say, and this is very, very important, is you've got to put your time in. And, when I say put your time in, I mean, not wake up at 8:30 a.m. and say, well, we're going to go fishing today. I don't really want to wake up at daylight. Let's just, let's get out there. It don't matter. Get out there at 30 minutes before daylight and pay attention to what's going on. And I'll go back to that phrase again, getting dialed in. You go out there, you learn so much. Every trip you go, you may be by yourself, you may be with your buddies. Don't just cast. Go out there and learn and understand the deal that's going on and say, all right, well, I've got some birds on this bank, and they're on this main river bank, and then I got a bite here. And just pay attention to that, and then carry that the next time, and you remember it the next year. Say, hey, it was April, they were here, they were on the main lake, and then you can carry it on, and you just learn like that. Another thing I can say is it isn't just a dream. You can actually make it a reality. You can. I'm living proof of it. And I tell people this all the time, and this is just blunt. I just come out and say it. My family, I don't come from a lot of money. I graduated. I was very fortunate to go to college. I still have college loans that I got to pay off. I just put my time in, and I sacrificed a lot, and it worked out in the end, and I never gave up. So you can make it happen. You really can. You just got to put your head down and grind it out, and eventually it'll happen.
Thank you. I think that's great advice.
Yeah, a lot of people, and it's not going to be easy, and I tell a lot of guys that, and that's just the reality of it. Anything worth having is not easy, but it can definitely happen for sure. Jordan Lee, he just won the Bassmaster Classic. Who would have thought a guy from Alabama, and he's 25 years old, 26, he would have won the Classic, but there you go.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah, all these young guys are killing it right now. Those older guys are going to have to start putting out, or they're going to have to get out. These young
guys. Yeah. Go up and tell Kevin Van Dam that now.
Yeah, he's King Kong, no doubt.
Now, did he have much to say to you after you won? You could see anybody that just lost a tournament, had the chance at win and lose, you're going to be a little disappointed. But did he say much to you backstage after that, or y'all just
No, I didn't really talk to Kevin after I shook hands with him. But I will tell you this. I looked back, I don't know, after the weigh-in, and I saw some pictures and stuff like that on Facebook. And, whenever I won, I was so excited. But I looked over and I saw him. He was smiling. For someone to just get beat and been very, very close, within 2 pounds of winning, and he was smiling, he knows what it means. You know what I'm saying? So that right there showed me, hey, he really knows what it means, and he was happy for me to win. And that right there meant a lot to me. And also, I said this earlier today. I was talking to somebody, Jonathan Van Dam. Man, he was all the way across the parking lot. He ran over, and in the middle of everybody in the big crowd, he come over, shook my hand, and said, "Hey, buddy, congrats." And I told him thanks, and that meant a lot too.
Yeah. I noticed we went down to the Classic this year and was backstage with the media stuff, and you see these guys come in and they're talking about their days. And I will say this is one thing about this sport, you know, especially with you guys. Y'all travel together all the time. Y'all see each other all the time, and it's like a family when you actually sit back and think about it, and to see the support, like when Jordan Lee won, and how happy everybody was for him, um, you just don't see that in a lot of sports. It's always like some kind of big rivalry, or it's a bunch of fussing about it, or I mean it was just really it's just really cool to see how this sport is, and when someone wins, how happy everybody is for them.
Yeah, I know every guy in the top 12, every single guy came up to me, shook my hand after day 3, and said, "Hey, buddy, congrats. Catch him, man. Good job, good job." And there wasn't one person out there like, "Man, I hope he falls," And but they all shook my hand and said, "Hey, buddy, congrats. I hope you catch him up, buddy." And they all know how special it is to be at that level, and they definitely don't take it for granted.
Yeah, James, you got anything else?
Not that I can think of right
I
now.
got you. Well, that's now we've been doing a series on post spawn fishing, and I wanted to kind of pick your brain a little bit and see. It's kind of like that tournament you just fished. What would you say that's set up for? Was that more like a spawn, post spawn, or was it all three stages going?
I think that was about 10% spawn and about 90% post spawn, maybe a little less, but typically on any river system, and also I've seen on Lake Gunnersville, um, you're some fish spawn all the way into May. Some of them go into June also. But there were some fish still on bed at Ross Barnett, but I knew the vast, the big majority of them, they were done. All the big ones were mostly done on bed. But anyway, you've got a period of about 2 weeks. After those fish spawn, they kind of get in a funk. They're recovering. They're not really back where they need to be, biting and trying to feed up. So you kind of got that period where you're just like, man, I can't get no bites, no big bites. And they just kind of, I think I have to tell everybody they sit out there with a lip poked out and they're just swimming. And that's what they do. I really think so. They're just swimming. And then finally they like, all right, I'm back where I need to be. And they find the nearest, they get out of those pockets and they find the nearest cover they can on that river out there. And then they start feeding. And, I kind of got dialed in on that also because I caught one the first day and it spit up a big bluegill. And we're talking about one that almost weighed a pound, a giant brim. And I went, yep. I said, this is the deal. Them 5-pounders are biting them. They're eating a big brim. So I had a big black and blue swim jig tied on also and a white one just in case. And that's what they do, man. They get on that riverbank and they start feeding up out there on that main river deal.
So they start. You think when the bluegill are coming up to spawn, that's when the bass are kind of up there working around trying to feast on them.
Yeah, and I tell you something else, another deal that went on at Ross Barnett. In practice, yeah, I would be fishing an area down upriver, but down from where I was at, around some lily pads, and I'd be swimming a jig around some just willow grass. And out of nowhere, I'd look over and I'd see in those pads, I'd see 4 or 5 fish start blowing up, like a couple big ones. And I went, And then I went somewhere else and I saw the same deal. And I went, okay, that's what they're doing. And there was actually schools of fish hanging out on those outside edges of those pads. And they were just using those pads as something to sit in. And when a school of shad came through there, they just all blow up on them, and that's where they were sitting at. That's how Kevin caught them. He caught on to that deal, and he caught them all on a jerkbait. So they do the same deal, just different sections of the river. They want to get out near deep water.
Yeah. Now, I know a lot of people get in there, and we talked to Dylan the other day, and he was talking about like throwing prop baits up there when it's kind of post spawn. Now, does that bite? Is that something you can make last most of the day, or is that something you kind of do in the morning as the shad spawn's going too, and then you kind of pull off to your deeper fish, or can you make a topwater bite work all day long on, let's say, a good sunny day? I know on a cloudy day, yeah, you got a better chance at it, but
yeah, topwater is a huge deal whenever they spawn out for sure. You can throw it all day long. Definitely the morning is the best for a shad spawn deal. And sometimes with a prop bait, I throw it. I mean, you can throw it all day long and you can catch them because, number one, not everybody's out there throwing it. Two, you may still have some fish still on bed in those areas too, and that's probably one of the best baits to throw because it just makes them mad. It's over their bed and they eat it. But, yeah, topwater's a big deal for sure in post-spawn all day long.
Yeah, that's what I like to hear because that's what I got a tournament this weekend, but now the water come up a whole lot down at Bugs Island, so I'm kind of working my way in either. I think I'm just gonna be flipping most of the day because it's up in the bushes, but that's something.
Oh yeah, it'll be
about.
one in bush.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. But and that's what I've been thinking buzz baits and prop baits and all that. So, but yeah, man, that's. I'd like to thank you, man, for coming on. James, I want to ask you one more time. You got any more questions for Dustin or before we let him get going, man?
No, man, I just really appreciate you coming on and giving us your story about how you won and everything like that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate y'all having me, and hopefully here soon. We never know. We may start another show up here soon. Hopefully I can catch them, the rest of the year, man. But I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, it's no problem. And then we've been doing it with Dylan too, and maybe do it with you. Is towards the end of the year, we'll get you back on. You can talk about your whole season and things you learned, and maybe things you wish you would have done different or whatever. But hold on one second. Oh, never mind. Somebody was putting something else up, but. Anyway, I thought I was getting a question in if somebody's writing something, but yeah, we'd like to get you back on and talk some more about how your season went, and I appreciate you taking the time too. Also, kind of going in depth on some post spawn fishing, but well, man, I wish you well for the rest of the year, and like I say, hope you get a couple more wins on your belt.
I appreciate it, guys, and. We're going to try. We're going to definitely keep rolling with it. But thanks for having me.
That's no problem, buddy. And keep in touch with us, and we'll get you back on.
All right, guys. Sounds good. We'll see you.
See you, buddy.
See you.
All right. Well, that was a lot of information right there, and it was nice to get him on and really go in depth on. Just that win. I mean, you look at it. I mean, that was a kind of a post-spawn tournament. So to go along with our theme for this month, that really give me. I know for me, it gave me a lot of information on some stuff to start throwing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's we're gonna have to get him on again. We'll have to get him and Dylan, because we got Dylan on FLW side, and then we'll get him on Elite side, man. That'd be great. So, Matthew Sprouse, I'm sorry, buddy. I was trying to scroll up and look at it, but he was just giving a shout out to Dustin, saying hi. Yeah, you spelled it right. But anyways, guys, just want to talk about one more thing here. Talk about our giveaway, our contest we got coming up with our YouTube channel. Get to 200 subscribers, man. I think we can do it. We're at 68. We picked up a couple, so we're at 68. Once we hit that 200 mark, we're going to be doing a giveaway. And it's just with our YouTube subscribers. It's not with Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. So it's just with our YouTube subscribers. So guys, please go subscribe, and because we'd love to be able to, for all y'all to have a chance at winning a good prize pack. So we said it's going to be a hat, shirt, and then tackle from all our sponsors. So so please go check that out, and also like us on Facebook and Instagram. We want to thank all the guys that have started following us this week on Instagram and Facebook. It's great to see you guys coming in, and we hope that y'all were able to watch all our shows. I did notice on iTunes our last show, it wasn't put up. Everything's on Stitcher, so if you search One Objective on Stitcher, which is a great app for your phone, you can not only get our podcast, but it's a bunch of other great podcasts on there. I think you can get Mike Iaconelli's podcast on there. Several other great podcasts to listen to on Stitcher. So not only on iTunes, we're also on Stitcher. So then also we are on Google Plus, so you can check us out on there. Some of our videos, if you're part of that, you can subscribe to us there. But other than that, guys, I think we're gonna take a couple weeks off. I'm gonna go down and fish bugs. I know James has got some fishing time coming up. He wants to try to take advantage of. So we'll be getting some videos there, and hopefully some videos. Anyways, I'm not gonna show y'all that I didn't catch nothing. So hopefully catch some big fish, man. But James, you'll have your video camera rolling, right?
Oh yes, sir.
So yeah, we'll get some great video, and like I say, I got a tournament coming up in at Bugs this weekend, so I'm gonna try to do it maybe Sunday night, depending on how tired I am driving back, but at least Monday a vlog on how my fishing went, what I threw, and where I fished, and hopefully James he'll catch some nice fish, and he'll be able to come on and do the same thing. So, but other than that, guys, stay tuned. Like I said, we'll be off for a couple weeks on the show, and then we'll be back. So just please share this on Facebook, and tell your friends about it. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. See you, James.
See you, man. Bye.